The secret of the biggest heist in American history. January 17th, 1950, Boston, Massachusetts. It was a cold night in Boston. The streets were quiet, almost deserted. But behind this silence, a group of 11 men was preparing to carry out one of the boldest heists in history. In just 35 minutes, they would steal $30 million in today's money from the law and vanish into the night. This is the true story of the Brinks heist, a robbery that would later inspire the famous Ocean's 11 films. However, the secret of this operation was uncovered not by the police, but by a betrayal from within. The Fortress of Brinks. In the 1940s, a building in Boston gained notoriety, not for its architecture, but for its role in the financial world. This building, owned by the Brinks Security Company, housed millions of dollars in cash, checks, and valuable documents. To most, Brinks was an impenetrable fortress, but Anthony Pino, a sly and experienced criminal from the north end of Boston, didn't see it that way. He spent months studying the smallest details of the building, quickly realizing he needed a team of professionals to execute his plan. Forming the Dream Team, the first member to join the plan was Joseph McInnes, a known figure among Boston's underworld. After him, Joseph Specs O'Keefe and Stanley Gassura joined the crew, two men famous for their physical strength and willingness to use violence. Vincent Costa, Pino's cousin, was chosen to act as the lookout and security monitor. The getaway driving would be handled by John Benfield, McInnes's trusted friend. To complete the team, James Ignatius Fardy, a skilled armed robber, along with Adolph Maffei, Michael Keegan, Thomas Richardson, and Henry Baker rounded out the group. 11 men, each with unique skills but one shared goal. A heist that would shock the world. The flawlessly crafted plan. The planning of the heist was meticulous. The crew spent weeks studying the timing of money transports, the building's entrances and exits, and even the patterns of the lights. The biggest obstacle was the vault, located on the second floor and secured behind 5 iron locks. But Pino had a clever solution. After hours, he would sneak into the building, take the locks off, and make molds of the keys, then carefully return everything to its original state. For the getaway, they stole a 1949 Ford truck. The crew rehearsed the escape route repeatedly, ensuring that no mistakes would be made. They also prepared their disguises: Halloween masks, navy coats, thick gloves, and driving caps. After several changes in their plans to pick the best time, the big night finally came. January 17th, 1950. A night that shocked Boston. That evening, the crew gathered in Roxbury. They quietly infiltrated the Brinks building. Employees were disarmed, bound, and gagged. In just 35 minutes, heavy bags of cash, more than $1.5 million at the time, were loaded into the truck. Afterward, each member disappeared according to the predetermined plan. Costa escaped in a stolen car. Benfield destroyed the truck, and the others went in separate directions, each following their own escape route. The operation was flawless, a race against time. By law, the SBI had only 3 years to catch the culprits, while state law gave them 6 years. If the 11 men could stay out of sight for 6 years, their stolen fortune would be safe forever. The investigation begins. When the alarm sounded at Brinks, officers arrived within minutes, but they were met with a silent, unhelpful scene. Employees said the robbers were calm and professional. The only things left behind were a mask, some tape, and a worn cap. One of the employees recalled the serial number of one of the 4 stolen guns. This was the first clue for the police. A few weeks later, 2 rusted guns were found along the Mystic River. These clues led investigators to potential suspects, but they had no solid evidence. The $100,000 reward from Brinks for information helped, and a witness reported seeing a green truck near the building the night of the heist. A few months later, the remains of the same truck were found in a dumpster in Stoughton, leading the police to focus on O'Keefe and Gasiura. But questioning them yielded no results. The first cracks in the crew. That summer, things began to fall apart. The heist was difficult, but hiding for 6 years was nearly impossible. O'Keefe and Gasiura, unable to stay quiet, committed another robbery in Pennsylvania and were caught. O'Keefe received a 3-year sentence, and Gasiura a 5 to 20-year sentence. Meanwhile, the FBI discovered that the two were still in contact with the others, asking for financial help. This connection brought the crew back into focus for the police. Conflicting stories. New interrogations began. Each suspect had an excuse. Pino claimed he was at home until 7 p.m., then went to McGinnis's bar. Baker said he had been out for a 2-hour walk without anyone seeing him. Fardy claimed he was drinking that night. Benfield said he had been drunk, but his ex-girlfriend testified otherwise. A clear pattern emerged. All suspects had changed their locations around 7 p.m., just before the heist. O'Keefe, the key to the puzzle. While in prison, O'Keefe and Gasiura remained silent. In January 1955, Benfield, the getaway driver, died from illness. The crew was now down to 10 men. Months later, tensions reached a boiling point. O'Keefe, feeling abandoned by his associates, began threatening them. In June 1954, 2 attempts were made on his life, but both failed. Increasing pressure from the FBI led O'Keefe to break his silence. In January 1956, he finally gave in and said, "All right, I'll tell you everything." The end game. Just 11 days before the legal deadline for prosecution, the police conducted a massive operation on January 12, 1956. Baker, Keegan, Maffei, Costa, McGinnis, and Pino were arrested. The rest of the crew soon followed. Gasiura passed away in a Massachusetts prison, and the crew shrank from 11 to 9 members. The trial began in August of that year. All the members were sentenced to life in prison, except for O'Keefe, who received only 4 years for his cooperation. The mystery of the missing money. A few months later, a clue surfaced. During a hotel room inspection in Baltimore, authorities found about $4,000 with serial numbers matching the stolen cash. Further investigation revealed another hideout containing $60,000, but much of it was too damaged to use. However, more than $1.1 million from the robbery was never recovered and is likely lost forever.